You know what I'm saying? If we allow them to kill 2 of us in 2 weeks' time, they're going to be killing brothers, not just black men, but Latinos and anybody who is underemployed or unemployed. It's a target on our backs. And so if we don't continue, to say something or stand together, it's a wrap. It's gonna be none of us are left. None of us are gonna be left. We're gonna be extinct. You'll be reading about the used to be black man or used to be Latino man.
Are you from St. Louis originally?
Yeah.
So how do you feel about all the attention that the community is getting, like all the people that are coming out from all different places in the United States?
I got mixed feelings about it. On the one hand, I'm thankful that the world has come out to see what's going on here. One of the issues I have with it is that while the world came here to see, a lot of people came out here to exploit this situation for their own benefit. A lot of people doing it for the photo ops. Yeah, I went down there and I took a picture, you know what I'm saying? And they could take that back home to where they live and claim that they support the cause. But how can you support the cause if you're not involved? If you're not working hard, using your celebrity status, using your political connections, using your influence in the hood? How can you say you're involved if you're not doing nothing to change it? It's not a black or white thing. They're trying to make it out to be a race thing. It's not a race thing. It's a have and a have not thing. And the people who have don't care about the people who have not. They feel like we should get out here and do something and their usual argument, I pull myself up from my bootstraps, blah, blah, blah. They need to get off their lazy ass and get off of welfare and do something. Well, oftentimes we try, but we get held back. Not only are we held back by the class, and sometimes by choices that we might have made earlier in life holds us back. We already got enough strikes against us. Why would the police then come and try to hold us back at the same time?
Right.
That's too much unfairness. That's not fair.
Can you talk about how you think the police can be held more accountable, or can they even be held more accountable given the circumstances?
I think that the badge cameras is a good idea, as long as they can't turn them off. You know what I'm saying? What's the use in having a badge camera if he could turn it off and then go be the suspect? So that's one of the feelings I have about it. Also, good police, the good police that are out here need to make sure that they have a responsibility to police themselves. Get the bad officers off your force. If you don't step out here and tell us that you fair and you for fairness and equality, and I run a good police department and we don't have this, we don't discriminate and we do all this training. We do all this, but then you turn right around and know you have racists on your department, like some of what was on display here. You can't tell me that a police officer who comes out here and points an AR-15 at reporters, women, and children and peaceful protesters doesn't have a problem. You can't tell me that a police officer that is on Twitter or or social media blasting the protesters is not a problem. You can't tell me that an officer that is calling us animals and come on, I'll kill you and do all of this and that is not a bad officer. If you don't want to get him off your force, give him a desk job. They don't need to be out here dealing with us. A police officer is a privilege. It's not a right. If I could talk to all of the police chiefs around the world, around the country, in our country, being a police officer is a right, it's a privilege, just like being able to drive a car is a privilege. If you, and you're not always right. There's no way that a police officer can be always right. Just like there's no way I'm gonna be always right. You know what I'm saying? They're not robots. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So if you got a bad officer on your force and you stand next to him and you watch him beat a suspect and you do nothing about it, you don't report him, you know, because you're worried about him having your back in the streets or whatever, then we have no way as a public. You know, they don't take us seriously when we report the problems. They just think, oh, he got pulled over and now he's just trying to get the officer fired or whatever. You know, sometimes, you know, the public is not always crying wolf. And you know that you got racist officers in your ranks. You know they ain't right. And you still side with them.
Can you tell me, so you're from St. Louis, right?
Yes.
Are you from this area specifically? Yes. Can you tell me, like, a memory you have with the police that sticks out to you, positive or negative?
I mean, I got positive and negative experiences with the police. You know, I remember being 21, 22 years old, getting pulled over and taken to the police station and being smacked by a black officer. You know what I'm saying? Because he thought I was a smart ass, and I was. You know what I mean? But still, that don't mean it's right for you to try to exact your own type of justice. You know what I mean? Your job is to cite, arrest, deliver me safely to the courts and let them deal with me. It's not up to you to beat me.
So what made you decide?
You know, they make it okay. Explain to me why it's okay for a police officer to beat somebody, but then they turn around and arrest us and tell us it's illegal. It's domestic violence. You're not supposed to do that. That's assault. It's hypocritical. It's hypocritical. It's hypocritical.
Can you just say what made you decide to come out here and organize
I had no choice.
the food?
My life is on the line. Even though I'm older, I'm still hood, and these my people out here. These are my people. I represent these people. You know what I mean? I have a gift to be able to articulate speech a little bit, and I had a vehicle and means with which to do what we're doing out here. I had no choice. I had no choice. You know, I came out here, I observed what was going on. I didn't make any rash judgments. You know what I'm saying? I took a look at what was going on and I saw for myself, just like everybody else. I saw for myself what was going on. You know what I'm saying? And I had to be involved. I had to be involved. You know, as a community, if we allow negative police officers to stain their badge twice in 2 weeks, apparently, the facts all the way ain't in yet, but just on the surface, it's just something about two brothers unarmed being murdered or killed in a 2 week time period. Something's wrong with that. You know what I mean? And if we allow them to set that standard here, they're gonna duplicate it elsewhere. And pretty soon we're gonna be in a museum. It's gonna be a statue of a brother in a museum, extinct.
Yeah. Did you know Mike Brown
No,
personally?
but if I did, I would have hired him, because that's what I do.
Yeah.
I work on houses. I also got this food truck thing going on, and I hired the Mike Browns because nobody else will hire them.
Yeah.
I hire them in a heartbeat. No application, on the spot. Boom. Let's do some statistics real fast. They had about 500 police out here, right? Armed with tanks, assault rifles, all different types of stuff. They spent well in excess of $10 million. It's probably more like 20 now, right? Doing, you know, paying for regular time, overtime, hazard pay, fuel costs, munitions costs. You know, you got to pay for that tear gas. Food, you got to feed them, and drink. You got to feed them. You know, you got to feed them and hydrate them, right? Medical costs, vehicle maintenance, upkeep, They did all of that for 500 plus officers from all over the region who mostly were out here on standby, waiting for something to happen and over responding to what really was happening. Some of it, right? Now, had they taken that money, let's say the total bill that the taxpayers got to pay on this is $20 million. If they take $10 million and invest it in the derelict neighborhoods in these cities, mowing grass, tearing down vacant buildings, dilapidated properties, renovating properties that, you know, so people can move in them so we can reduce homelessness, right? The people that were seen on TV, the looters, the people that have us all here, that, I mean, they're, you know, make no mistake about it, him killing Mike Brown has us all here. The protesters brought us out. The looters made it an international, a global story. So if it weren't for the youth, these Mike Browns, if it weren't for the youth, we would not be here. It would have just been a few protests. The national correspondents would have never came. They could have covered it from New York or wherever they was stationed out of, and this story would be over.
It's very true.
But because of their actions, them saying we ain't going for that, and if we gotta loot this store, apologies to the owner, if we had to shut this whole city down, apologies to Ferguson, the residents, the kids that couldn't go to school, the parents who lost some time on work, causing a fear to the citizens, you know what I'm saying? Putting people's lives at risk.
You're watching BlackTree on TV, only on Soul of the South.